Hello friends, welcome to this series of videos for the explanation in the English language of the holy and inspiring Srimad Bhagavad Gita for the chapter 15, Puruṣottama Yoga, one shloka at a time. This explanation is based on Jñyāneśwari, which was written by Sant Jñyāneśwara more than 725 years ago. In the 15th chapter of the holy Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavān Śri Kriśna uses the metaphor of an inverted Ashwatha tree for describing the universe. He also explains the two types of beings, perishable ones and the liberated ones, and then explains the Supreme Divine Personality in order to then achieve the liberation. In the third shloka of the 15th chapter, Bhagavān Śri Kriśna says, "Na rūpamasyeha tathopalabhyate, nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha, ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam, asanga shastrena drudena chitva." The form of the tree of the universe described here is not perceived in this world, neither its beginning nor its end, and also not its ongoing existence. That which is deeply rooted, the Ashwatha tree in the form of the universe, must be cut down with the powerful acts of detachment by gaining the true knowledge. In this shloka, Bhagavān Śri Kriśna explains to Arjuna about the weapon to be used to cut down the deep-rooted and enormously grown Ashwatha tree of the universe. While explaining this shloka in the Jñyāneśwari, Sant Jñyāneśwara mentions that, "O Arjuna, if you are thinking about how much effort it is going to take to uproot this tree of the universe, then remember that we don't have to send the bogey to a faraway country in order to remove the fear in the minds of the kids. Or we don't have to break down the fort formed by the clouds in the sky. If the tree of the universe is not real, then why have the fear about how to uproot it? What is the use in the real world of the objects which we see in our dreams? This Ashwatha tree of the universe is entirely imaginary." Sant Jñyāneśwara provides the example of the mirage. "मृगजळाची गातळी, तिये दिठी दुरुनीची न्याहाळी, वाचून तेणे पाणीये साळी केळी, लाविसी काई." Even though it looks pretty to our eyes, mirage is just an optical phenomenon. Will we ever be able to grow grain or banana trees in it? When the root of this tree of the universe is ignorance, then how can the tree which grows from it be real? He says that when it is said that this tree of the universe has no end, it is true in one way. The sleep does not end until we wake up. The night does not end until the day starts. In the same way, until we are able to use our intellect to dispel the ignorance, the Maya, there will be no end to the Ashwatha tree of the universe. We cannot see the illusion of the water in the mirage once the sunset happens. In the same way, in order to remove the delusion caused by the ignorance, we must understand the truth by acquiring the knowledge. About the beginning of the universal tree, Sant Jñyāneśwara says, "म्हणोनी जन्मे ना आहे, तैसिया सांगो कवण माये, या लागी नाही पणेची होये, अनादि हा." This tree of the universe does not have a beginning. How can there be a beginning for something which does not have existence? For the imaginary character described in a book which is not real, which does not exist, which never got a real birth, how can we find out who the mother of that character is in the real world? This existence of the Ashwatha tree of the universe is just an illusion. We cannot see the mirage at dawn or after the sunset, but can only see it when the sun shines. But even then, there is never even a drop of real water in that mirage. Sant Jñyāneśwara further says, Nana rangi gazabaze, jaise indra dhanushya dekhije, taisa nena taya apaje, ahe aisa. In the rainy season, sometimes we see an extremely beautiful spectrum of light, which forms a multicolored circular arc in the sky, which we call as a rainbow. It is also associated with a saying that there is a golden pot at the end of the rainbow. The rainbow is just a phenomenon, an appearance, and not a real bow in the sky. Then how will someone be able to find its end, to find that golden pot? In the same way, the Ashwatha tree of the universe appears to be there, but it really does not have an existence. The objects we see in the dreams are not only imaginary, but also are never still. They keep on changing at a fast rate. The color of the sky keeps on changing in the different times of the day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. It is yellowish pink, then it appears to be blue, then again reddish pink, and then black in the night. In the same way, this tree is not only a delusion, but also is ephemeral or short-lived. It keeps on changing at a very high speed. The crux is that this tree of the universe does not have a form. It has no end, it has no beginning, and is not to be found anywhere in the world. It has grown tremendously due to our own ignorance. It can be only cut with the axe of the self-knowledge. This Ashwatha tree of the universe is nourished by the three gunas, the tendencies of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. It is blossomed with the objects of the sensory organs. How many lives are we going to spend in satisfying the obsessive addiction of the sensory organs? About this aspect, Sant Jñyāneśwara mentions, Maga kiti khando khandi, yaya hindave urdhvi adhi, manoni mulachi adnyana chedi, samyak jnane. In the bodily form, the soul is forgetful of its origin and its eternal existence. Then, in order to satisfy the bodily needs and wants, sometimes the living beings knowingly or unknowingly commit sins, and as a result goes to the downward branches of the lower species in the next birth. At other times, it does sattvic activities, which accumulate the spiritual merits, and that helps it to get reborn in higher branches of the celestial abodes. But how long is this seesaw going to do rounds of up and down and up and down? Hence, acquiring the true knowledge is the ultimate cure for this. One can gather large number of rods in order to kill an elusive snake, which is in fact just a rope. But the snake can never be killed that way. It only results in extra work and makes the person tired. In the same way, in order to remove the delusion created due to the ignorance, there will be lot of fatigue in searching the solution in different actions, resulting in merits and demerits. The wound created by the weapons in the dream can only be cured by waking up. In the same way, to cut down the tree of the universe with its main root of ignorance, self-knowledge is the ultimate and best weapon. But in order to effectively use the weapon of that self-knowledge, the intellect will need the continuously renewed and never diminishing strength of detachment from all sorts of sensory and worldly objects. This detachment must be extremely strong and extremely powerful. By throwing away the sheath of the ego, this weapon needs to be held tightly in the hands of the extremely clever intellect. Then it must be sharpened so much that ever-shining true realization of Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, can be clearly visible in it. Then, just in the same way that we cannot see the mirage in that starlit night, similarly, the Ashwatha tree of the universe, its branches on the upper and lower side, and its root on the top, none of these will be visible at all in the blinding light of this realization of I am Brahman. In this way, the Ashwatha tree of the universe must be cut down by using the powerful axe of detachment, by gaining the true knowledge of the soul. What to do after that is something which Bhagavān Śri Kriśna explains in the next shloka. Let us listen to this shloka again. Na rūpamasyeha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena drudena chitva. So friends, we will meet again after just a few days to listen to the explanation of the next shloka in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Till then, Jai Śri Kriśna.